Hey everybody, welcome to the video, welcome to the channel. Look at this. Got the truck out here with us today, and of course the water bottle, but got the truck out with us today. Took it to town to pick up some more rebar this morning. We are on the YouTube yacht project. Here's the progress we made from the last day and the previous video, just in case you missed it. And if you're new to the channel, this is going to be a steamboat shaped themed rental cabin. Most of you know that by now, but just in case you're new to the channel, a little update. We're going to try to get stacked out all the way, braces up, ICF all the way up, the whole 9 yards. And I've got a day to do it because it's supposed to rain tomorrow. So we got a lot of work to get done, not a lot of time. Fingers crossed this goes well today. First things first, you guys know we're trying to get things cleaned up and burnt up a little bit as we go. We cut this persimmon tree down in the last video as well. So I'm gonna move the burn barrel down here. We're gonna get that cut up, get us a little fire going, then we'll get to work. Let's see what it burnt down to last night. It burnt down pretty well. Cool to the touch, probably should have done that with gloves, but there's gonna be some hot coals down there. Yeah, we'll just leave. There's some hot coals in there. I'll get a shovel to stir those around so they can cool off. Definitely some heat in there still. Just move everything around. Spread them out so they can cool off, and then we'll move the burn barrel down by that top. That way we don't have to pack everything up the hill. We can just be quick and easy down there. Turn down to that. That'll be enough to keep it going. I ran out of rebar last time, and well, just time, but we want to get this 5th core stacked on here, and then we can start getting some braces up. Missing a piece there we got to do, and I got to figure out where I ran out of rebar at. Here, there's no rebar in that wall yet, and I think maybe that corner up there. This is a perfect situation to show you guys something. So a few people have asked how come we don't tie the rebar to the webs. Well, when they sit in these snaps like this by themselves, these lock in really tight. You don't have to tie it, it holds it in place. But I did mention, depending on the rebar schedule, if I can get them back out, there we go. Depending on the rebar schedule, sometimes we do have to tie it, and this is a perfect example. Can you see where it overlaps this 90? There's a 90 that comes out of this wall and turns down here. Well, there's not enough room for both of those as it passes that 90 to snap into those locks. So in that instance, we do tie it. I'm not skilled enough to use pliers and actual tie wire, so I use these little cheat ties and this little cheat tie tool. But it does the job. It does the job just fine. And once we get past where they're running on top of each other, then they just snap into where they need to go. And we're good to keep moving. And you just flip it over. Cut the other side. This is what I was counting. I was counting the stud marks. You see where the diamonds are? Everywhere there's a diamond, there's a web and a stud that corresponds with that. So these walls are the same on each side. All I had to do was count where the diamond marks are at, the stud marks. There's 10 on that block. I counted 10 down this block, and I just cut right down the corresponding line. Easy peasy. We do actually have to use a tape measure on that end, but for majority of this, just a little bit of counting. although I had to cut that out first. Just cutting those webs off to get that out. You remember, we got to make these cuts, these kerfs, if you will, so the wall can make that radius. Turn that one. Okay. I just need this back one. There it goes. There it goes. This one's not going to fit just right in there. I bent it around a cedar tree, so the may not be the most accurate bend. I will throw a couple ties up here at the point. Beautiful. I mentioned in a previous video, this project has a lot of ICF firsts, for me anyway, and we're getting ready to do another one at the bow. We're gonna try something that I've never tried before. We're gonna make a couple beveled cuts down the center as well as that mitered cut, if you want to call it that, at the bow, and try to get a little bit more roll on these last two courses. Will it work? I don't know. Okay. Look, ICF holds your screws for you. They have a good position. What is going to be a good way to do that? What is going to be a good way? Oh, I know. What's a good way to pull anything, right? I'll be right back. If I had $1 for every time a ratchet strap saved me, well, I'd buy more ratchet straps if I was being honest. You just can't have enough. All right. Okay. Let's see if this does what we want. There it is. I was worried about putting the strap right on the stud because then I couldn't screw to it, but if I go right through the eye there. Ah! Beautiful. And then I don't know if that's what I want to do or not. Let's try it. Well, what happens now? It'll probably come off a little, but as long as it doesn't do it all the way. I just don't know if it's doing what I want it to do. You know? I don't know if it is. Let's put a straight edge. I guess there is a gap right there, which does mean it's, you know, a little bit. So I tell you what I was trying to do and what we're gonna have to do to make this work. I was trying to cut everything but this last little bit of this stud so that there'd still be some integrity between the two as far as strength goes. But I just don't think that's gonna allow me to do it because I think it's still trying to compress this. I think I'm gonna have to take the handsaw, because that's not deep enough to reach, and cut that last little bit of stud. It's just gonna be more strapping, but if that's what it takes to get the look, then that's what it takes. All right, so I got the plywood strips across there. You can see I cut all the way through the studs, all the way down. And if you put a straight edge on there, it's got a little something going on. The one thing we're gonna have to look out for in the long run here is this obviously changes. This is an 18-inch block. We cut some out, and now we're a little under 18 inches. But we just have to adjust for that on the last course. And the last course is technically a half course. We ripped the blocks in half. So in theory, all we should have to do is just kind of add a little bit as we go. We'll set a string or laser up or something to figure that out. And hopefully whenever we get these blocks on here, you can see a little bit of a pitch or a little roll. Yep, I am loving this. Can you see it? Let me get a better angle here. I'll get down here. A little parkour for you. Can you see it kind of starting to roll? We got another course and a half. So basically we have one more course to try to make it come out even harder. On the next one, I'm gonna take this kerf cut about 3/4 of a way down, all the way down this side. And we're gonna make that even more aggressive. And since it's already on a little bit of an angle right at the bow, that should compound it even more coming out. I'm pretty excited. I see you down there. Oh, he's got his camera too. Oh no. Well, guys, get ready for some pond jokes in 2 months. Anyway, Mike just pulled up down here. Let's get his opinion on this. Oops, sorry, watch out for that. We added a slide to the pond. What do you think? Is this the wrong slide? Daggone it. All right, Mike's headed back to the shop. I know you can't see. We're down the hill. But anyway, he came up to look at the YouTube yacht too. It's got the Dirt Perfect stamp of approval, so that's exciting. And he got his drone out and took some shots of it. So hopefully we can throw those in somewhere, because that'd be pretty cool. So thanks for the drone shots, Mike. And thanks for the consulting, you want to call it that, advice down on the pond. We came up with a pretty good game plan. It's pretty similar to what Gary and I wanted to do, so I think it's going to work out great. Now it's just a question of when can we get the equipment up here, because this is Dirt Perfect's busy season. Obviously, this is dirt work season, and it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get stuff up here this time of year, but I think we'll be able to make it work. It definitely helps having the 120 and the 140. There's only one mic and there's 2 excavators, so hopefully that works out. And burn barrel's doing pretty good. We've got most of that top burnt up, really. But it's supposed to be pretty windy tonight. It's about 1:30 now, and we're already rolling coals out the bottom. So I think I'm just gonna let that cook down. It's this pin. That pin. Kind of important. Okay. Oh. Oh, we're missing the turnbuckle pin too, are we? Well, we're just pin poor on this job. Pin poor. Okay, that's fine. We've been pin poor before. You just put a screw every course. There's nothing fancy. Nothing fancy. This is what I was talking about. Can you see down here? Can you see? This is what I was talking about. I want to make sure I could catch that bottom course. That way it's all, whoops, strip that one. There we go. We always put a brace every 6 feet. There's the first one. There's number 2. necessary. If you're doing it by yourself, always remember to set your drill where the next brace is going to go. That way you're ready. Back in a minute. What did I slip on? Oh no. Whew. Did I pull anything? No, I'm limber. We're okay. I slipped on my tripod. Oh. How are you guys doing? You okay? I think you guys can grab that. Can I just shoulder press this, you think? Oh, maybe. Oh, yeah. Yep. There we go. Well, that was neat. That was really neat. Now I'm stuck on the string line. Who is in charge of safety on this site? No, not did a great job. Okay, now we got it. Now we got it. This one's got a pin. There's supposed to be a pin stored up there, normally. Anyway, it just goes in the turnbuckle here. Like that. And since I set my drill down here, I can just grab it. I can put a foot on it. And I can go. Nice. This is why I call it my tripod. It's an old swing set bracket that I just magnet you guys to, and it stands up. It works handy anyway. 4 braces on this side. We're gonna do the same thing on this side. Time lapse. So this one's gonna be just a little bit different. We talked about how I'm putting that plywood across there on that door buck, because we're putting that plywood across there, and that's gonna sit on that plywood. 1, I gotta get the plywood on first, and 2, I gotta put a plywood shim behind each screw on that brace so it stands up perfectly plumb. You know what I mean? You can't have gaps in there. You'll have problems. Okay. Go. Okay. Some stakes. So we've got 8 braces on the inside, 1 every 6 feet. Pins in the feet, pins in the turnbuckles. All except this fella, because it is sitting right on a giant rock. I might have to go borrow one of Mike's cordless hammer drills to run a couple tap cons in. I might come up with something else though. Who knows? The bad news is I didn't quite get as far as I'd hoped to get today. Nope, we're going this way. I didn't quite get as far as I'd hoped to get today. This is a little optimistic goal, honestly, in the morning, but that's okay. The good news is they changed the weather forecast for tomorrow. It's not supposed to rain until the afternoon, so hopefully we can come down tomorrow morning and finish putting the last course and a half on. A little cloudy this morning, but with the rain coming in, we definitely expected that. Let's see if we can get this thing kicked up real quick. Should have plenty of heat in it yet. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of heat in there. Let's see what we can do real quick. I'm starting to get everything staged. I don't have walkboards. Mike's got the walkboards, obviously, for his ICF job. And with the price of lumber, I'm not about to buy walkboards for one job. When we actually pour, I'll snag Mike's walkboards. But for now, we're just gonna walk the wall. It's not the first time, won't be the last. On that corner. And then we're gonna do this block over the door next. And look at this. I found my actual tape measure, so I'm not using a little 16-footer. I told you it's gonna be a good day. I knew it was. It's starting to sprinkle on us, but we can work through the sprinkle. It's fairly warm. So basically, these blocks, you see this, 18 inches tall. We've talked about that before. We just measure down from here, which gives us, oh, let's call it 15 3/4, but I'll bump it up to about 16 1/4 just to make sure we're not fighting it across the top. Any gap we're left with, we just spray foam. Well, let me just cut it and I'll show you. There we go. Beautiful. Now, I'm gonna tell you right now, that is really small, and there's a good chance we'll break that. It's not a big deal. It's not, and you'll see why. So like I said, see how thin this is? What we got going on there? We're gonna break that. There's no way we're getting that up and over that door without it breaking. There you go, it broke, just like I said it would, and that is no big deal, and I'll show you why in just a second for some days. But here's why this doesn't matter. Since we had to cut the webs are what hold the styrofoam together from the pressure concrete. Since we had to cut the webs, there's nothing holding these two sections together, which means on the outside, we have to add a 2x4 or a piece of plywood that runs the length and holds that in place. So it's not a big deal if that broke, and remember there's another half course going on top of here. It'll lock all that together, and then with the strapping, you're good to go. Well, we've got this cut made here. You guys noticed it's quite a bit larger and the angle's a little bit steeper. We'll get this strapped together. Then we have to do the kerf cuts because this part has part radius in it and part whatever this is in it. So So this is the outside, right? Which means this is the inside. This side gets the kerf cuts on it. Yes? Yes. Let's see if we can get it on the wall, I guess. What are we doing here? Watch your fingers there, bud. You're getting aggressive with yourself. Yeah. Oh yeah. The next one will be identical, except it'll have that cut all the way down it to the point, and by the time that roll comes onto this one, it should start compounding just a little bit like we talked about. Is I need to make sure where it bumps in right here, that those line up pretty much perfect, because there's another half course that'll go on top. So I'm just measuring right here, 16 3/4. Then we'll go in here. And where they come together, 16.5. So I just need to let off of it with the ratchet strap, run it right to 16 3/4 on there, and I can fasten it, and that should in theory make everything line up. You could throw a bobcat through that, couldn't you? That's a big old gap. Well, I guess that's what spray foam's for. You see this? Right here. I'll show you what's going on inside. We're gonna have to come up with a way to fix that real quick. That outside is pulling down so hard to try and make that curve, it's popping the inside up. It's not allowing it to sit tight. See that? I need to get those back down tight, tied together, maybe 3 or 4 courses down, and then I'll have to figure something out to put some pressure on the downside of that, or the outside of that, whatever you want to call it, and get it all tied together. Getting close though. Somewhere there's a C-130. Oh, I can't see it. And there's the second one. There it goes. What do you think those guys are going to think when they fly over and see a boat? That's going to be confusing for sure. Coming around the bow. So we have this lattice work we just put on the front end. Now, this gap stays, we'll get spray foamed. This gap stays, get spray foamed. Those are the two that we cut. What we're trying to get to close up is the factory gap right here, the actual seam. You know, we're back to the ratchet straps. It's good enough. I agree. Let's run it. Just kind of sitting here looking at the bow, trying to see how that's going to turn out, trying to envision what's going on. I am really happy with it. I'm glad we added just a little bit. It did take quite a bit longer to do this than I expected, but I think it's going to be worth it in the long run. Keep in mind, it's got another half course, so it's going to come out another 9 inches, so it'll have quite a bit. And about where those straps are, you can see where the ground level was, and that's going to carry across whenever we backfill. So really, it's those 2, 3 courses and that half course that's going to show, and that's the courses we put the effort into. So I think it's going to be really cool. Also, this deck here, this is going to be an Icf deck. They make Icf forms for that. We're going to do an Icf floor across here, okay? And that'll be a 1-foot overhang all the way around the YouTube yacht. So not only will it have a little bit of this flare, a little bit of this roll in the hole, that made me happy, but it'll have a little bit of an overhang too for that added dimension. I know there's going to be a lot of questions coming up about this. I'm letting the previous video and this video run for maybe a week, and then we'll come back and we'll do a question and answer video. So if you asked a question and all I said was stay tuned, that means I pulled your question, I put it in a screenshot album, and we're going to address it directly on a question and answer video. So just don't be offended by that. Just, you know, stay tuned like I suggested. If you guys want to know what's going on with this, you guys know to subscribe. If you're this far in the video, I'm sure you've already hit the subscribe button, but if you haven't, please do so. Hit the bell so you get the notifications. You probably noticed we added a second row of silt fence a little bit higher up just to kind of help against the wash-in down against the stone. I do know in one question we're going to get a lot, and I'll just go ahead and answer it. People are going to know when we're pouring the walls. If you've been with us for a little bit, you know we're doing this all out of YouTube revenue. So it just depends how March goes for us, to be honest. So far, March has been a little slower than normal, but still good. And if it keeps the pace it's at, we'll be pouring in April, in mid-April. So I'd be pretty happy with that. That would be a really good thing. I'd love to get these walls poured. I'd love to get my backfill in and just walk away from that mud issue, that's for sure. I do want to show you a couple things. Check this out. This came in the mail yesterday. It's from the same people that make this white duck. They sent me this to begin with. It's technically a firewood carrier, but it's just a canvas bag. It has a little pocket there, but I use it for my DeWalt tools. If you're anything like me, I could not afford a big fancy DeWalt set all at once. I've kind of bought them, some of them used on Facebook, some of them sent in by subscribers and got them over time, which means I never got the cool fancy DeWalt bag to keep everything in. So I started using this thing and it works perfect. I actually like it so much that I went and bought another one, and I've been keeping the cordless saw and batteries in, which has been super handy. I really do like it. If you're interested in any of this stuff, there's a coupon code in the description. It's Kleeman, and you get a certain percentage off. I can't remember, but it's in the description. They also sent me this, by the way. They just make all kinds of canvas products. This kind of stuff, canvas tarps, I don't remember the size, but they have every size you can imagine. But I did want to point this out. This kind of blew me away. I was pretty impressed by this. This grommet on the corner and in the middle goes through 1, 2, 3 different layers on the corners. That's pretty daggone heavy duty. I love canvas tarps, by the way, and we all know why. This is the cheap blue tarp that we all buy 20 of, use for a week and then regret buying it. This thing is awesome. It'll last me a very long time, and I'm actually going to use it to keep some of my tools covered up. They also have some other canvas products that are really cool and worth checking out. The tents, I showed you that last time. I have it in my head. Chelsea and I are we're gonna have to buy one of these tents, because it would be awesome on the original YouTube yacht site for that primitive site we want to do. One of those big canvas tents with a little what do you call those, tent stoves? You know what I'm talking about, the little fire stoves go in tents. That would be so cool. I would absolutely love that. And I think we all understand, if a product is gonna have its durability tested, it's gonna be on this channel, right? And they flat out said, if you have any issues with it, send it back, we'll get it taken care of. But so far, everything's been holding up great, those canvas bags. Of course, we just got the tarp, but we'll see how it holds up. And you guys will see too, because it'll make more appearances. I'm pretty happy with everything we got done here. I really am. Not as far as I would have thought we would have gotten, but this stuff up here, it just took a lot more time than I expected to get all those cuts in there. But all in all, happy with it, and I think it'll work great. Yeah, I figured I'd give you a shot from the top side real quick. Looking really nice though. The porthole windows we talked about, there'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. Typically you cut your window bucks in before you stack it, but these being the shape they're going to be, I thought it'd just be easier to do it when the walls actually stack through. But that'll be in a future video. And then obviously we're going to cut a little bit of a curve. It's not going to be stair stepped like that. It'll have a little bit of a curve to it like that. And then these end pieces here will get flexed in just a little bit so that they kind of come around to the back where they hold the paddle wheel right there. I think it'll be a really cool look. I don't know what else to say. I really don't. I hope you guys are having a great day. Whatever it is, whatever you're doing, I hope it's awesome. As always, thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.